Hey, Ironman Florida fans, this is Ryan at SouthBaseTriathlon.com, and I'm coming at you with a video about Ironman Florida, and specifically, we're going to talk about the athlete guide, because I like to point at this out because a lot of people are out there in the Facebook groups and everyplace else asking questions and worrying about stuff and all this other stuff. I just like to point out that when they have the athlete guide out there, it's basically going to answer 99.9% of your questions, and whatever you don't get answered, you can ask in Facebook groups or whatever, and post on the Ironman Florida page. The race director is really engaged in trying to help out the athletes and stuff. But I like to go through the athlete guide and post a video about that, just so you guys are aware it's out there and what's in there, and I kind of show you what pages to print off and whatnot. So if you go to the main website for Ironman Florida, you go down to athletes, you go down to athlete guide, and there it is. So I hit the link. I usually download it and then I print it off later. And like I said, I'm going to go through, I'm going to point out what pages I think you should print, what you shouldn't print, what you don't need to print, kind of hit the highlights, 10,000 foot view. We're not going to talk in depth about any certain sections or anything. I might talk a little bit about the event schedule. But so basically, I print off on the first page because I think it's kind of cool just to have as a cover or whatever. So I print off, if you just open it up and hit print, it's 58 pages long, and there's going to be advertisements in there and lots of color. So you're going to waste paper and ink. It's going to be really thick when you're trying to travel around with it. I print this off. I staple it a couple times just to make sure it doesn't fall apart. And I put it in my bag, my computer bag, and take it everywhere with me just for reference. So if I'm somewhere I don't have cell phone service or whatever, I'm in a pinch, I can pull this out and I kind of know what's going on. So print the first page, table of contents. I don't print that off. Race director. I think Ben Rasa, he's been there forever. So I print this page off. We're flying, so I'd like to, during the flight, I'll kind of thumb through the athlete guide and read everything. So I print that. I print the athlete schedule or the event schedule. No check-in on Friday or race day. So make sure that you're there Wednesday or Thursday. It is if you look on the schedule, it is a Saturday race. So don't make the mistake of flying in Friday thinking you can check in. I've got my flight on Thursday morning. Cross my fingers, no delays, no problems. Get in there, get checked in. Shouldn't be a problem. Pandemic, who knows what's going to happen. I'm doing my prayers, and hopefully I get there in time because we're flying in Thursday, like I said. So Wednesday, they got check-in, they got the Ironman store, Ironman Village, and athlete briefings. So it's all at Aaron Besant Park, so it's a little bit different than in the past. Last year, this was one of the few races that happened in 2020. So they had everything. They moved it to this Aaron Besant Park. It's a little bit different from the host hotel, so just be ready for that. Make sure you know where everything's at. You can Google. I highly recommend Googling these places and marking them on your Google Maps, so then you can find it pretty easy when you're out there driving around. Ironman store, unfortunately, I'll miss the first day, but if you're there the first day and you see stuff you want in that Ironman store, you better grab it because I guarantee you on Thursday afternoon it's going to be slim pickings. There's pent up demand for race stuff, so I'm crossing my fingers that when I get there on Thursdays, or at least the event shirts, I've got one for every event I've done, the name shirts. So I cross my fingers. If you're watching this video and you're like, hey, I know you and you trust me, buy me a large T-shirt, men's, and I'll pay you back. Just putting it out there. But anyway, so if you see a hat you like for the event, you better buy it then, because I guarantee you that stuff is going to be cleaned out by Wednesday probably. Thursday morning you might have some stuff left, but all the events I've been to this year, it's been slim pickings the second day that store's been open. So Thursday, athlete check-in, Ironman store, Village, briefing, pro panel at noon, so that's kind of cool, and then a briefing. So 2021, Ironman California was canceled, and it was going to be a big men's pro event. They're all moving to Ironman Florida, so possibly you're going to have Frodeno, you're going to have Sanders maybe, you're going to have all these athletes that are going to move over to Ironman Florida. So I think that's going to be kind of cool. If you make the pro panel, then do it. I think that'll be kind of cool. Friday, no more check-in. Ironman stores open. Ironman Village, mandatory bike and gear check-in. So by scheduled time. So hopefully you've gotten your check-in times email and the little QR barcode when you do your check-in. And then when you do check in, they'll give you slips of paper for different times to check in your bike and your gear bags. So you'll be checking in your run and your bike gear bag, your morning or your special needs bags, morning bag you bring with you on race day. You have access to all this stuff on race day, so don't be worried about it. Just make sure it's tied up nice and tight, and your bike's all ready to go. So, mandatory gear, bike and gear bag check-in, athlete briefings on Friday, and then race day, 4:45. Transition opens, closes at 6:30. Pier Park West parking lot. So make sure that you got all these places mapped out because, or at least, go check them out when you go do the check-in to make sure you know where everything's at because you don't want to be frantically running around on race day being like, I don't know where anything's at. That's my nightmare that I had the night before the race usually. I wake up and I'm like, oh, God, there's a dream. I know where I'm going. Athletes escorted to swim start by estimated swim times. Pro women start, age group start. So it looks like pro women, they might add pro men. Let's check the guide to see when it was last updated. Don't see a date. So, I don't know. They might add pro men. Anyway, so pro women start at 6:45. Age group starts at 6:55. And then the store opens, village, gear by check-in. Race will officially end 17 hours after the last athlete enters the water. So technically, if an athlete doesn't enter the water until like 7:30, that's from 17 hours. That's when they close the finish line. So if you're out there and you're worried about cutoffs and finish times, and it's past midnight, it depends on when you started in the swim. So keep going to the finish line until someone pulls you off the course. Keep going. And then Sunday, they have the stores open, village awards ceremony at 10, and slot roll down for World Championships. You've got to be there in person. So if you think you're going to qualify, you got time in your age group, you think you're going to do a roll down, you've got to show up in person or else you don't get that spot. So event schedule. They've got it separate on the website, but you can also download it and print it off from the athlete guide. So athlete check-in, when and where, has all information what to bring, check-in screening, athlete, check-in steps, emergency contacts, all this information. I print this page. So this is where we start getting the advertisements. I would not print this page. Pre-race health questions, if you don't have time to look at it, I would definitely print it off just so you know what they're going to ask you. Pre-race info, make sure you print this all off so you have it. Gear bags, I've done plenty of videos about those, but I've definitely print this off just so you kind of have an idea, especially if this is your first full Ironman. It has kind of information on the gear bags. Definitely would not print this page. I mean, they got to advertise, they got to make their money. Vendors want to sell their stuff, that's great, but I don't print this page because it wastes my paper and my ink. Race date info, I go ahead and print this off. Race morning procedures, body markings, all this good stuff. There are no body markings this year, so just be ready for that. Race day info, timing cutoffs, timing chip, all that stuff. I print it off. Like I said, I read it on my flight on down there. Gatorade, I definitely do not print that page. Post-race info, volunteers, timing results, lost and found, bike gear, and checkout. Print that page so you have it. Skip this page, skip this page. Qualifying, if you think you're in danger of qualifying for the Ironman World Championships, I'd print this page off and know your qualification information. Skip this page. So I've done videos on all the courses, so this is nice because you can print this off, you can have it in your athlete guide and take it with you. Swim course rules, wetsuit rules, all this good stuff, I print that off. Swim checklist, print that off. Skip the advertisements. Bike page, I go ahead and I print this off just so I have it. Just so you can also look at the map later too, so you can see all the wonderful little bike riding and information that's going on in the entire course. Turn by turn directions, a gain of 2,000 feet, so it's not exactly pancake flat, so it's a little bit more than typically in the past, but just be ready for that. Bike course rules, make sure I print those off. More rules, print those off just to have them. Cycle Smart, I print that off, skip that. Bike store tech, I print this information off. As soon as you get there, check your bike, make sure it's all in good working order because they're going to get slammed and they're going to get slammed early. So if you need something done with your bike, you need to get there as soon as possible. Definitely be ready. Wheel rental, if you're doing that, I'd print that page off just so you have it. Advertisements. Run course map, I'd print that off. Know it, it's 2 loops, basically down the beach and back. Nothing crazy. A whopping 254 feet of elevation gain, so not too taxing. I print the run course rules just so you have them. You can read them over. Like I said, overall rules, definitely print them off and know them. It could be different from race to race, so make sure that you're paying attention. Physically challenged, if you're in that category, I'd print that page off to have it. Violations, definitely print this off. Know what you could be ticketed for. Race numbers, chin straps, littering, all this good stuff. Make sure you know all that. Medical policy, again, it's in every video I've done about every athlete guide. You don't need medical until you need medical. I've had my opportunities to visit the medical tent on races, and it's been informative after the fact. So make sure you have this, make sure you read it, and know your choices and your options. All World Athlete, if you're looking to do that or qualify for it, here's information on that. Skip advertisements. Frequent asked questions, I definitely print that off just so if you have any questions, like I said, 99.9% of the questions you have is going to be in this athlete guide. So I print that off and have it. Again, advertisements. I've got checklists, so if you need one, let me know. But they've also got their checklist on here. I always print it off and just have it as backup. You never know; they might add something I never thought of. Don't print advertisements. So notice, I mean, almost half of this guide is kind of advertisements. Like I said, they got to make their money. They got to do their thing. But at the same time, I don't see a need in printing all 58 pages. And you can print them back to back. What is that? 34 pages? No, 29 pages. Some of these pages just don't need waste your ink or whatever. I'd rather use my ink on stuff that I need. So that's it. I mean, that's really high level. Really went through it really quick. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. Give it a like if this helped you out. If you needed something else, you thought I should include something else, put it in the comments. Same goes for YouTube. Give it a like, give me a subscribe, hit the notification button, see future videos on Ironman Florida and other races you're doing. And hopefully this helps you out. And with that, I hope, like I said, this really helps you out. I hope you got some good information out of here, and maybe like the light bulb went on. You're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'll print the athlete guide out. They're really making it robust, a lot of information. So with that, happy training out there, and we will see you at the finish line, bushy tailed and bright eyed. Talk to you later.